Starting with the United States, as I mentioned, the U.S. government shutdown, it's entered a second day. But this gridlock continues in Washington. Republicans and Democrats continue to clash, and it is the American people who are bearing the brunt. The partisan wall is growing thicker in the U.S. Trump is punishing Democrats for a deadlock in the Senate. The White House has slapped Democrat-ruled states with funding cuts. Around $26 billion that was supposed to fund projects in blue states now stand frozen. The funding cuts will most severely hit New York, where $18 billion transit project can be stalled. In 16 other Democrat-ruled states, green energy projects worth $8 billion are on the line as well. And these cuts will hit states like California and Illinois. Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, who hails from New York, hit out at Trump. He's accused White House of targeting regular Americans for Republican objectives. Vice President JD Vance also doubled down on political rivals. He said that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government. He also warned that the administration might sack federal workers if the shutdown lasts more than a few days.
And I think that the Democrats, if they're so worried about the effect this is having on the American people, and they should be, what they should do is reopen the government, not complain about how we respond to the fact that Chuck Schumer and the Democrats have shut down the government in the first place.
Now, around 750,000 federal employees are expected to be placed on a kind of enforced leave, with pay withheld until they return to work. Essential workers such as the military and border agents may be forced to work without pay, and some will likely miss their checks beginning next week. These talks are stuck on healthcare. The Blue Camp is demanding healthcare subsidies for low-income families. The issue that, according to Donald Trump, is raised to give healthcare benefits to illegal immigrants voting in the Senate is now adjourned until Friday, meaning hopes for a quick resolution are dim. Republicans don't have enough numbers in the Senate, and Democrats are using that leverage to further their agenda. In a 100-member Senate, Republicans need 60 votes to get the funding bill through, but they only have 53 seats, 7 less than what is needed. This is where they need Democrats to chip in, but as things stand, neither of the parties is ready to bow down. These types of stalemates are not new at Capitol Hill. Usually, the Senate passes continuing resolutions or short-term funding bill to keep the government open. Republicans are ready to walk down that path, but even after multiple sittings, a short-term Republican spending plan failed to win enough support. With both Republicans and Democrats blaming each other, the shutdown is likely to continue, at least until there is some effort to reach common ground between both the parties. All right, for more on this, Susan Tehrani is joining us live from New York. Susan, thank you so much for joining us. Of course, we've been discussing this for the past few days. We were speaking to some experts yesterday as well. We spoke to Mr. Greg Swenson, and we have been speaking to other experts as well. Many of them say that perhaps the requirement at this point is that the Democrats let this bill pass, a clean bill without the added healthcare amendments that they want, and then fight that on their electoral politics. That's where that should come in, and not at this point. Or, of course, the other point is to raise the debt ceiling. Susan, what's your take on this?
Yeah, those are such valid points, because we were just hearing from Speaker Johnson right now, and the Republicans proposed a clean bill to keep the government open for 7 weeks until these negotiations continue. However, the Democrats fear that momentum is going to be gone for the things that they're demanding. And ultimately, the reason that the Democrats don't want to do this, many experts believe, is because they can't go to their electorate and say that we want more subsidies, healthcare subsidies for the people that they want. While it's not outright illegal immigrants, but if you look at the bill and it's public, it really provides a lot of healthcare subsidies for asylum seekers, and there are a lot of issues regarding the border as well. That doesn't sit well with the American electorate. The American electorate wanted cut in spending, and they wanted immigration reform as well. But they think that if they keep the government open right now, then they're going to lose this momentum. And then there are those Obamacare subsidies that will expire during these 7 weeks. So ultimately, it all comes down to where this money is allocated. The Republicans want it in another way. The Democrats want to continue with the path that they've been going, and that's why we're in this deadlock. But the American people are watching right now, and what they're seeing is that, there could have been this temporary 7-week window, as it usually is, and about 20-something Democrats just voted against that. It's not clear how well that will really work out for them, even though they believe that they're fighting for the right causes.
That as an example, because as you mentioned, the American people are watching. Do you think this could somehow prove to be a self-goal for the Democrats in those terms then? Because I was also speaking to another expert who did say that beyond theatrics, it's of course the American people who face the brunt of this. And it's going to be an unpopular choice for either side to let this continue and let this go on for too long.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's always the losers are the ordinary American people, especially when even during this shutdown, it's these lawmakers that continue to get paid, and the Senate went on recess until at least tomorrow. So, nothing is going to happen in the short term. Right now, most ordinary Americans may not feel the brunt, but as this drags on further, then you are going to continuously see that, different programs are going to be affected. For example, I'll give you an example. People that were traveling from JFK and LaGuardia airports here, the TSA is working, but they're not getting paid. Supplementary security doesn't exist at airports. There are already long lines just 48 hours in. So programs like this is going to exacerbate maybe food stamp programs, but it all depends how long it takes. But nonetheless, it's not a good look.
Right. All right, Susan, thank you so much for bringing us the latest on this. Of course, we'll track this closely and we'll be in touch with you, of course.